But I mean, Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat
On page
Shalom.
number 10 are the words to Hine Matov, an old Hebrew folk melody that most of us know to a different melody, but tonight we'll do it to a Sephardic tune. And it says, how good it is that we are all together tonight. It goes like this. Hine Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Next part goes like this.
Thank you, Cantor Addie. That was a
You're
beautiful
welcome, Rabbi Mintz.
beautiful way of welcoming everybody in. I want to introduce our amazing ensemble with Cantor Marcia Addie, Colin Marian, Jonathan Ferris. We have Eric Schoen, and we have Dan Zemmelman. I'm Rabbi Sidney Mintz and Rabbi Noah Westreich, and we are, I want to say, we're thrilled to be here on Shabbat. We're a little chilly. Raise your hand if you're a little cold in here. All right, so almost every Friday night, somebody walks in and says, when are you going to turn the heat on in here, Rabbi? And not for another year and a half. So just to be honest. And Rabbi Westreich said, as the service was starting, we were watching people put their gloves on and their hats on in here. Maybe we should take a bead from the restaurants in San Francisco who, in their parklets outside for outdoor dining, have their own blankets. So I think we should have a budget line item, if there's any board members here, for Temple Emanu-El Shabbat blankets. So when you come in, you just put a blanket. I'm not kidding.
That's nice. I like that.
I'm from Chicago,
Yeah.
and it's really cold there, and it was never this cold. But the thing about Shabbat, whatever reason you're here, whether it's for joy, for simcha, or to say Kaddish, if it's a sad or sorrowful time for you, that the warmth in our sanctuary comes from us. The warmth comes from the desire for us to pray with one another, to be with one another, to really relish the music that we have. How it's almost like having a Shabbat concert every Friday night. Just that music to wash over you and warm your hearts and souls from your inside and from being in this sanctuary. And so we just want to say welcome, and we're here for you and with you. Even if you're a little cold, by the end, I promise you'll feel warmer.
I've had my eye on this Shabbat moment all week. I was in LA with 25 8th and 9th graders when the storms hit, and we were stranded in LA for 2 extra days, 25 kids. And so this whole week, I've had my eye on this moment where I can rest, exhale, and really take the lessons of this past week, let them sink into me as we bring in Shabbat. So I'm delighted to welcome up to our Shabbat candles, Noah Goldstein and Doug Curtis. They are getting married in just under 10 days, and so I've invited them up here. They're going to help light the candles, bring Shabbat light in, and then also receive a blessing from Rabbi Jonathan Singer, who will be officiating at that chuppah, along with myself. So first, I'll ask you each to grab hold of that shamish and light our Shabbat candles. The blessings are on page 2.
Wow, you just lit the Shabbat candles and Kibel to help welcome in Shabbat. And we're here to also welcome the fact that you're going to get married next week. You'll be standing right here, I believe, under your chuppah. And the fact that I get to stand with a leader of the Jewish people, that you're a Jewish professional now, and that Douglas, you're standing there with a scientist. And together, standing with 2 people very much in love, to combine your light together and help it go forth from that chuppah into the world. And we know that you're going to use the framework of Judaism to help encourage that light in your household. And it's such a beautiful framework, just as you're a beautiful couple together. What an honor it is for us to be able to celebrate tonight and help receive you in this way and help you take forth your blessing forward into the world. And so we'll give you this bracha, this blessing from our tradition.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you.
Adonai panav elecha yuneka. May that sense of wonder cause you to have joy and searching in the world and knowing that you have found the best partner to help you search together.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May you feel God's presence within you always. And every day may you seek that ultimate goal of shalom, of peace within your walls. Let us say together, Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will.
Ken Yehi Ratzon. And we have this custom of giving a mezuzah to put on your doorpost. And of course, being Emanu-El, we want to advertise. And it's a mezuzah that is of the dome here. It's just such a beautiful, beautiful thing. And that it'll be part of your household going forward. It's just fantastic. And where's your family? Can we all say mazel tov to them, everybody?
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov, mazel tov.
Siman tov.
Mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov. Before we continue our tefillah, our prayers, I want to offer one additional blessing, which comes to us because this month is Jewish Disability Awareness and Inclusion Month. And when you walked in today to the back of the sanctuary in the foyer, you were greeted by 3 organizations: the San Francisco Autism Society, the Support for Families of Children with Disabilities of San Francisco, and the Community Advisory Committee for Special Education for the San Francisco Unified School District. 3 incredible organizations that help to lift up the dignity and life of people who have different abilities. And I want to, of course, thank the Busina family for always helping us focus not just on a Shabbat or a month, but every day on what it means for each one of the members of our congregation, our community, to be created B'Tselem Elohim, which means in the image of God. And luckily tonight we have our friend Rabbi B'nai Lappi, who, when we were thinking, well, what is our blessing? And Rabbi B'nai Lappi, who's the founder of Svara, a very dear friend of Cantor Addie's, installed her here at the congregation, dear friend of all of ours. Of course, she's a serious Talmudist, so she knew the blessing. And I said she's off duty, but she helped us in the blessing. It's Baruch Atah Adonai, and you say, Eloheinu melech haolam, say, Mishaneh Habriot.
Habriot.
So when you consider all the different ways that human beings have different abilities and present differently, we think about the Rahmanis, the compassion that each human being deserves with dignity. And so I want to thank the Businas for bringing us these 3 amazing organizations and for keeping our awareness and our focus where it needs to be.
Zimmelman.
I think we're on page 20. This is a very uplifting L'chadodi. If you feel like getting up and dancing, it will make you warmer, I promise.
rising to meet the Sabbath bride. Boi v'shalom, ateret ba'ala, גם בשמחה ובסוף עולם. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלב, בואי חלב. לך תודיעי לקראת כלה, תהי שבת מקבלה. לך תודיעי לקראת כלה, תהי שבת מקבלה. I don't know about you, but I am warm. I'm taking off my jacket.
Wow. Please be seated. And we're going to continue on to, you know what warms people up also? Angels. So we're going to invite the angels with Shalom Aleichem on page 24 to join us in the sanctuary to give us a little bit of that spiritual love, nurturing, and warmth from the inside.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Chasharet, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Continue on page 28, and we rise together for the Baruch Hu.
La 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 la
continue standing now, and we're going to sing about simcha. So wherever your heart is, if it's heavy or low, if it's full of love, if you're full of joy, this is a song for Shabbat. That Shabbat is supposed to give us a little taste of heaven, a taste of our second soul, and it's called Yismechu, and it's on page
44.
Page 44. So stay standing, turn to page 44, and if you need a little bit of simcha, this is the song.
ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקורא עונג שבת. מקדשי שבי שבת, כולם ישבעו ויתענגו מטובך שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקורא עונג שבת. והשביעי רצית בו וקידשת שבת. חמדת ימים אותו קראת שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקורא עונג שבת. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקורא עונג שבת. Yes.
Well, I feel like people were almost dancing. Almost
No, we
dancing
were
in here. We
dancing.
were
We
very,
were-
very close.
I was.
So the truth
with
is,
you.
the truth is, we actually have the ability to heat the place, but we're not because we want people to dance more. So, I think it's working. So thank you for that Yismachu, for the delight, the simcha of Shabbat. We're going to turn now for the Shema to page 34. We take a deep breath together before the Shema. Let go of whatever it is from this past week that belongs in the past week and does not deserve to be a part of your Shabbat, to open yourself up to what you need, to what you want.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Ha'ed.
Please be seated and join in V'ahavta on page 36. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha.
בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, ושבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך, ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, וחיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אלוהיכם אמת.
So this Shabbat, the number that's on everyone's mind, I know, is 49. Yeah? 49, because 49 are the days between Pesach and Shavuot. There's 7 weeks. 7 times 7 is 49. And what I want to talk about are those days. Those 49 days between Passover and Shavuot. Do I hear a lot of laughing?
Yeah, you're in San Francisco, dude.
What's happening? What's happening in San Francisco, the number 49? 7 by 7. Our city is 7 by 7.
That's right, you're getting closer.
Yeah.
You're getting closer, Rabbi.
Happy Super Bowl. All right. I want to talk about these 7 weeks, these Shavuot, not because it is Passover. Passover is just over the horizon in mid-April. But the truth is, we're reading about the story of Passover in our weekly Torah reading. When you come to Shabbat services in the morning, the B'nai Mitzvah kids are reading from the book of Exodus, that story that we retell and retell and retell at the Passover Seder. The question is, why read the Passover story in January and February? By the time March comes around, we're done with the book of Exodus, we moved on, and it's not till we come back to the Passover Seder that we're reminded again of the Exodus story. Well, I think it has to do with our journey as Israelites. If we see ourselves as the Israelites who were enslaved and then freed and then make their way through the wilderness to receive the Torah, this process requires so much introspection, reflection. It's too important to just read once. In fact, our daily prayers, our daily liturgy, if we were to pick up the Siddur, would mention the Exodus from Egypt every day. So last week was Shabbat Shirah, where we celebrate the freedom of the Israelites crossing the sea, and it's full of song and happiness and joy, except what comes after freedom. I'll quote George Washington, or quote Lin-Manuel Miranda, "Winning is easy, governing is harder." Last week was Shabbat Shirah, we celebrated freedom, and this week is Parshat Mishpatim. Mishpatim, laws, rules, governance. In this week's Parsha, we start to get the basis of the code that the Jewish people will live by, that we still live by today. This week's Torah portion features the law of lex talionis. Lex talionis is the Latin term for retaliatory law, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, a life for a life. This is what the Torah tells us to do. If someone gouges your eye out, you're free to gouge their eye out. Retaliatory law, talionis. But the rabbis had something else in mind. Our ancient forebears, who lived around 2,000 years ago, weren't happy with this. Just like I'm not happy with this. Just like I imagine you aren't happy with this, because you know what? That expression, you know how that expression goes? An eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. The rabbis practice something called tort law. I know there are lawyers in here that know that tort comes from the same root as torque. I learned this afternoon. Torque means turning, twisting, that allows a vehicle or something to move forward, to progress, to go forward, to have a revolution. The rabbis engage in tort law in giving us many different cases of how, instead of taking an eye for an eye, we might have monetary damages paid. We might have another way to have reciprocal justice than leaving the whole world blind. The key here, without going into too much detail about tort law is noticing that the instrument of change that the rabbis used was legal. They interpreted, they reinterpreted, they changed the law. It's so important that we read this story this week and we understand our legacy as innovators, as change makers, as people engaging in torque, revolution, to bring our tradition forward, so that when we sit down at the Passover table in a few months' time, we'll remember this lesson, not having heard it so long ago. It's so important to remember that we are change makers, we are innovators. When we see something we don't like, we change it. I want to end on one other note about our wedding couple. Noah, this isn't your first time in this sanctuary, nor will it be your last. Your family is members of this congregation. You teach our children, you teach college students. You are bringing this old, ancient, cold, storied building into the future by turning and turning again. And it's for simchas like yours, gatherings like tonight's that allow us to move forward. We're going to continue in that spirit by directing our energy towards those that may be ill in our lives, those who are in need of healing, whether of body, mind, or spirit. The words are on page 373. As a congregation, we're remembering the following names. We're thinking of the following names for refuah shlema, a full healing. Rusty Holden, Patrick Powell, Peter Logan, Erica Boutiette, Rachel White, Michael Pappas, Daryl Jan, Jim Sansone, Jennifer Kern, Charlie Kopp, Patsy Greenstein, and Gay Cuccarelli. If there are other names you'd like to mention and bring into this space, I invite you to do so quietly under your breath as we continue singing these words, El Na Rafana La. Oh God, please heal them so we may be strengthened and carry on.
El Na Rafana La, El Na Rafana La, El Na Rafana La, El Na Rafana La.
Think of all of the power of healing our brokenhearted world. We think about the aches. We think about the shakes. We think about, at least for me, I feel like sometimes when I'm about to go to sleep, I feel like the world is crumbling. And I've always been, I think, a better than most sleeper, but when I think about the Hashkivenu and I think about this past year, I get woken up a lot in the middle of the night by not something outside, but something inside. And almost every night I wake up and I think about my heart turning towards Israel, turning towards the Middle East, turning towards Gaza. And I'm sure many of you, like me, still have that as a present ache or a shard or a pain. The Hashkivenu is saying that there are many innocent people that are suffering around the world. And maybe we should wake up. in the middle of the night and think about what we could be or should be or will be doing to heal that. So we say the El Narafana La, but then we give ourselves permission to take a little bit of rest at night. We're asking God with Hashkivenu on page 42 to give us the ability to rest at night. And if we wake up, maybe you can hear Cantor Addie's voice in your ears. Sometimes I actually turn it on, Cantor Addie's voice, when I can't fall back asleep at night, the Hashkivenu or heart of mine. And it soothes my heart back into a place of restfulness, not just physical rest, but of the rest that we need in our hearts and our souls because of how disturbed we might be. So let these words wash over you. If you're next to somebody that you love or loves you, put your arm around them right now in the sanctuary. Feel that comfort, the ability to rest.
Hashkifenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, ve'ha'amidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Fos aleinu sukat shomecha, fos aleinu sukat shomecha. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us safety wrong from right. Amen. 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 We're on page 48 as we prepare for our private prayer. We'll sing the opening line and then we'll give you space to pray privately. Adonai, and when you feel ready, you're going to rise to your feet. If you're able, Sefatai Tiftach. Ufi, Ufi, Yagi, Tehilatecha. Adonai, Adonai, Sefatai Tiftach. Ufi, Yagi. On the back of your program at the top, there's a lyrics to a piece of text that we're going to sing. It says, Ben Adam, Ale Lemala Ale. Let's say that together. Ben Adam, Ale Lemala Ale. And then it plays with the words a little. Then it says, Ale Lemala Ale Ben Adam. Ale Lemala Ale Ben Adam. Ale Lemala Ale. Ale Lemala Ale. And it just says, human beings, rise up. Rise up, human beings. And there's now more than ever, it speaks about in another section, a lot of Hebrew I didn't put in here, but it says that we have wings of spirit, wings that can help us rise to our higher selves. And we just need to call upon them, and they'll be there for us. But if we don't call upon them, they don't show up. So we have to seek out our ability to rise up, to do better in the world. And it goes like this. Ben Adam, Ale Lemala Ale, Ale Lemala Ale Ben Adam, Ale Lemala Ale, Ben Adam, Ale Lemala Ale, Ale Lemala Ale Ben Adam, Ale Lemala Ale, Ki koach lecha, yesh lecha kanfei ruach, yesh lecha kanfei ruach, kanfei nesharim adirim, al tekach eshbam, en yekach eshut echad, derosh otam, derosh ben adam, veyimatzu miyad. Ben Adam, Ale lemala Ale, Ale lemala Ale Ben Adam, Ale lemala Ale, Ben Adam, Ale lemala Ale, Ale lemala Ale Ben Adam, Ale lemala Ale.
It's a beautiful song, Ben Adam, teaching us about rising up. When I think about your translation, rise up, I think about radical revolutionary rising up.
I think about how we have Yetzer Tov and we have Yetzer Ra. Do you know these words in Hebrew? We have like a, sorry if interrupting you, Rabbi.
No, give the sermon. Go
Okay.
ahead. Preach it, Cantor.
We have the ability to, we have a sort of a, I'm going to say evil or hateful or fearful side of us that acts out of hate. And we also have a higher self that acts from love. And so I think of it like choose the side that acts from love is how I interpret that. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Well, that's what I was going to say, so thanks. I actually was when I was thinking about like that radical revolutionary rise up. I think like a fist in the air, rise up, and of taking charge and of changing things. You said like when we see things that are wrong, we're Jews. We see things and we right them. We want the world to be different, so we change them. But I love this idea of instead of radical revolutionary rising up with your love. And when Rabbi Westreich and I were talking about the different sections of Torah that we were going to teach, and it's a little different. When we lead services, we like to each give a shorter teaching and not a full sermon. I like to give a shorter sermon in general. But I think that this idea from our text, there's a lot of laws, as you pointed out. Mishpatim, we get to Mishpatim and it's law after law after law. And today when I was studying Mishpatim, I thought about what do we return to and what is an essential part of our teaching. And when I was looking at the Tanakh, I opened it up to where I thought was Mishpatim, and for some reason my Tanakh opened up to Lamentations. Sometimes the Tanakh is teaching you something about where you are. And so the line that I came to in Lamentations was Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva chadesh yamenu kekedem. And I thought, I wonder what that's going to bring me today. And Hashivenu is about turning us back to the source, turning us back to our own hearts. And it says literally, turn us back to you, Adonai, God, source of all being, divine presence, whatever it is that you imagine is outside of yourself that is transcendent in the world. Turn us back. And we will be turned and then renewed like the very first days. And when I thought about the very first days, I thought, well, what is it? Is it the first days of the creation of the world? Is it the first days of our own lives, our birthdays? And where are we going from there? What are we renewing in ourselves? What do we have to renew? And it reminded me of that very, very difficult time that we thought we would never come out of, which was during COVID, when we, for the most time, were in a completely empty sanctuary for over 2 years, and we could only feel you coming in from the cameras. And you can look and turn, the cameras are still there. Wave to the people who are at home drinking a martini, they're wearing their slippers. And we're happy that you're there doing that, although I would like to be in slippers and have a martini too. I was wondering if we would ever do that. But we lived through it, and we kept our hearts open, and we celebrated Shabbat. And Shabbat was there to sustain us. And one of the mitzvot in Mishpatim tells us, God rested, we rest, and the earth must rest. And that middle part about us resting is so important. So even through 2 years of being at home and being in an empty sanctuary, and even through 2 years of this huge gaping hole outside that is us recreating the Mikdash, the Mishkan, this portable sanctuary that is going to emerge in another year and a half, we're still here together. And what I take from Mishpatim is we're commanded many times to think about when we left Egypt, that Exodus, but we're also commanded to go into ourselves and to celebrate, to lift up our good impulse, to give ourselves the time on Shabbat to be together. And so I want to say first, the celebration is you're all here celebrating Shabbat. Mishpatim says to lean into that place in our nefesh, in our soul, that needs replenishment, that needs Shabbat Menucha. Who here needs a little Shabbat Menucha, a little rest in their souls, in their hearts, something that is going on in your life that has taken you outside of that ability to take care of yourself, to nurture yourself? And so Mishpatim this week says, don't lose sight of Shabbat. And I know for the people who are at home and the people who are in the sanctuary, you know that because you're here, to help you remember the people who aren't here anymore, to help you remember yourself, and to help you remember you're not alone, that you're part of a sacred community. And finally, I want to remind you not to let too much time go by, because in just 6 days, we'll be right back here. The Torah will wind itself one more time, and we'll be in Parshat Truma. And Truma says, build me a sanctuary. Everybody whose heart moves you, that's Truma. In Vayakel, 2 portions later, it says 14 times the word heart. Can everybody say lev?
Lev.
Lev. So it says, build for me something where I, the presence of God, will dwell among you, but only if your lev moves you. So on this Shabbat, I want you to think about all of those Exodus chapters that are encouraging you to take good care of your heart, to spend time alone in nature or together in nature, and then whatever your heart moves you to do, do it with your whole heart. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. My favorite part of that she just talked about was Asher Yidvenu Belibo. It says, everybody bring the gift that is from you. Everybody has their own gift to bring, whatever it is, but we all have our own gift that we should bring from ourselves that's like genuine and real and comes from the generosity of our spirit. I love that. Just talking so much tonight.
Is this a participatory?
Cantor Addy, it's like, it's like call and response. It's
Is
like
this participatory?
it's commentary drash. Go ahead. What was your favorite part of the drash, Rabbi Westreich?
Well, I was thinking, aleh, lamala aleh. Aleh is the word for leaf, like a leaf on a tree. And so seeing ourselves as the leaves, we look up and we see leaves on a tree, and we are part of this large trunk of a
Tree of life.
civilization. Tree of life.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's Chaim.
Anybody else?
We know there are rabbis here.
We brought the late Shabbat to the 6 o'clock service.
All right.
Aleinu, it is upon us to make the changes in the world. Be the change is what that says. Aleinu,
Please rise.
Aleinu,
Alleluia.
Aleinu, 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 Aleinu.
Aleinu also has to do with ale, lamala, ale. Aleinu, it is on us. Something is upon us, on our shoulders. What will it be this week? We think about that question as we move into Shabbat, knowing that for the next 25 hours, we have just rest, just softness, just quietude before embarking on the week ahead.
Please be seated. We turn now to page 294, and our thoughts are filled with memory. Our thoughts are filled with those who have gone before us, and so we take those into our hearts whose Shloshim, the first 30 days of loss from our community: James Sidney Bach, Rochelle Annixter, Jacob Ben Mattis, Rita Robert, Thomas Kreisman, Lee Batat, Diane Boyerman, and Judy Lowenthal, and those whose yahrzeits, the anniversary of their death, falls on this Shabbat: Grace Lappin Abramson, Harry A. Batat, Catherine Bauer, Roger Boaz, Riva Bogomol Naya, Bess D. Braun, Morris Chesler, Amy Cohn, Anna Devereux, Deborah David DeWar, Helen K. Ellman, Valerie Feldman, Gerda Fisher, Moshe Michael Morris Friedman, Rosalie Goodfried, Manuel Gammon, Abraham Gordon, Doris Grasshoff, Rabbi David L. Greenberg, Roy Gussman, Myron Harband, Roy Harlan, Chris Hellman, Florence Herbach, Vernon Heyman, Harry Holtz, Leonard Hurwitz, Charles Immerschein, Dr. Harry Jacobs, Zell Khan, Zachary Kamen, Audrey Katz, Harry Cohn Jr., Marsha Lashinsky, Elsa S. Lerner, Irma Levin, Robert Theodore Levine, Betty Mann, Miriam Marsden, Dottie Mathis, Paul Matzker, Harley McLean, Morris Melnick, Jesse Moskowitz, Milton Herman Newman, Susan Ornstill, Fred Perlstein, Serena Pinsler, Manuel Price, Rebecca Prostikoff, Julian D. Ryan, Dorothy Rhodes, Stephen Sanders, Sherman Shochet, Diana Shore, Michael Schwartz, Esther Scott, Jeff Shenson, and Leslie Singer, David Spiegelman, Isabel Steinberg, Samuel Story, Charles Straka, Yuri Tarnopolsky, Joe Tulchin, Rose Weinberg, Nancy Glicksberg White, Israel Willinetz, Ruth Wolf, Jill Woolley, Ryan Sasha Woolley, Queenie Wood, and Rose Yanowitz, And if there's anyone else here observing the outsider who has lost someone recently, please feel free to say that person's name out loud. Invite the mourners to rise first. And I invite the entire congregation to join them. Rise on page 294, and we take all of those beloveds into our hearts as we say these holy words of memory and blessing. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabba, be'alma divrach yirteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayachon uvyomechon uv'chayeh dechol beit Yisrael, b'agala v'zman kari v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevarach le'olam al mei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithalev v'yithalal shemed kudesha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata damiran belma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Say shalom b'romav, kuya say shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru imru amen. Say shalom b'romav, kuya say shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yoshvei Tevel, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru imru amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru imru amen.
Make our way down to Kiddush and Motzi, but I just have to draw your attention to your Shabbat booklet, your Shabbat pamphlet. There's so much going on. There's something for everyone in this congregation. Take a look at what's coming up. We hope to see you at one or all of these upcoming events. If you're a young adult between the ages of 21, let's say, and 39, late Shabbat happens this evening, and we also have a link tree on our website, which has lots of events specifically for young adults.
39?
Yeah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagadol. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I just want to invite Rabbi Brodich to come up. Come on up. We're making a little blessing. Come up. And Rabbi Lappy, will you come join us too, please? You don't have to do anything. Just stand here. We have two visiting rabbis in the room. One whom you know very well because he used to serve this congregation until quite recently. And Rabbi Lappy, you may have studied Talmud with her. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'achavav uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh bereshit ki hu yom tefillah lemikra'ei kodesh zecher l'yetziat mitzrayim ki banu v'acharta ve'otanu kidasha mikol
last but not least, that's why we cover the challah. If you've ever wondered why is the challah covered, it's because the challah shouldn't know it's the last thing being blessed on Shabbat. So you take it off.
She
and it
gets
says-
jealous.
Yeah, she gets, he or she, I don't know if the challah is a woman or a man.
I feel that it's a woman.
You do? Well, I feel like it's a man. So there we go. Ready?
They get jealous.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Shabbat shalom.
Please bring your prayer books to the back of the sanctuary and we'll greet you at the oneg. Awesome.